Today, we're talking about my top 10 movies of 2023. Number 10 is gonna start out with technically two movies, and that's gonna go ahead and be Barbenheimer. Both Barbie and Oppenheimer, two very fun movies, came out back to back, watched them day to day. It was just too long for me to watch both of them in one day. Sorry, but I can only imagine just how big of an event, how big of an experience that was. Oppenheimer's like 3.5 hours long. It's a long movie, and Barbie is just this contrasting hot pink comedy. They're both really, really good movies in their own merits. A lot of people are actually starting to dislike Barbie, which I don't know why. It's essentially Elf, but with a Barbie skin on top of it and a different sort of meta humor. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Oppenheimer as well, this dramatic biopic about Robert J. Oppenheimer and the creation of the nuclear bomb, and just the looking back on that and thinking, wow, we kind of messed up, guys. Number 9 is going to be a little bit more of a controversial one because a lot of you may have actually skipped this, or many of you may not have actually even heard about this. But number 9 for me is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Because of the spirituality that this movie likes to explore around, I just found it very fascinating. And hey, I've been doing a little bit of window shopping myself, Buddhism, Christianity, just kind of looking around. But yeah, no, this movie was a lot of fun. I don't really relate to a little girl going through puberty, but as someone who did go through puberty at once and having a specific outlook on it, I could definitely relate to that. I could also relate to a lot of what Margaret and her family were going through because they were a mixed culture. One was a Jewish father, and I think the other one was a Christian mother. And so exploring that through the lens of Margaret and her finding her own spirituality was just really fun. It was really heartwarming. And at number 8, we have some YouTubers who can actually prove themselves to be some fantastic filmmakers, in that of Talk to Me. This movie was lingering in my mind for weeks upon weeks, and my gosh, was I depressed after this movie. This movie got to me, it spooked me, it scared me, but then I came to realize that all of that was in due part to the amazing filmmaking process. The merging of both practical effects and CGI in this movie are almost seamless. I also loved the characters, their journeys, the direction in which they went. They were all understandable. I never once asked myself, why are you doing this? Like I do in most horror movies. In this movie, I actually could come to terms with why they chose the decisions that they did. Gotta say, stuck with me. Number 7 is a little bit of a bolder choice with Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. This movie has gotten a lot of controversy based on the viewpoint of the movie behind Ernest. I do kind of agree with some of those points. The movie was still very, very entertaining, and Lily Gladstone as Molly was a standout performance. I loved everything about her. Her character was the most unique and interesting. She acted as a very good foil to Ernest, and their dialogue together was so entertaining, and their dialogue also felt like two actors just battling it out for the screen time. And I feel as though Lily Gladstone actually beat Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie, and so I was just floored by not only that, but by the charm. And I just recently played Red Dead Redemption 2 for my first time, and this kind of reminded me of that era, of course not being exactly in that era, but sometime in the similar time period. Everything about this movie, from the editing to the cinematography to the acting, everything here has been done and handled with a ton of care, and it shows on screen. Number 6 is the boogeyman himself, John Wick Chapter 4, the end cap to the John Wick franchise. At least it's what we're led to believe. I really hope not, because I do feel as though they did leave an open ending, a more happier ending to potentially with John Wick. But in this movie, John Wick is just non-stop action. I love it. At his age, Keanu Reeves, I'm just very not only surprised, but also impressed at the same time with everything he's doing. And I'm a much younger man who is not even capable of doing half of the stunts that he's been able to perform in all of these movies, especially in Chapter 4. The way the gunplay is utilized, it feels so raw and tactical. It's all nonstop. It's really fun. It's in your face. Does anyone remember that stunt of the guy falling down the escalator? That was very impressive. That was viral on YouTube for a short week, but my gosh, the stunt work in all of these movies, they deserve their own awards for the Oscar season. Now, number 5 used to be my number 1 for the longest amount of time, and that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What a great movie. Not only does it visually look amazing, but the characters are so much fun to engage with. I love everything about this movie. The writing is so great as well. The amount of foreshadowing used in this movie at the most most basic level and then multiplied to make it seem like, how did they write this? How did they write the script? Just felt very monumental to me. This is going to be a 3-part trilogy that many Spider-Man fans can actually look back on and feel happy with. At least I'm assuming, based on what we've gotten with these prior 2 movies, I can only imagine the upcoming movie is going to be even better. However, with this movie and it not having a finality to it, that's the only reason I had to bring it back up on the list to number 5. Otherwise, the rest of these movies, they have their endings, and we're gonna go ahead and start out with number 4 being Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And a lot of you are probably like, whoa, hang on, he liked Guardians Volume 3 over Spider-Verse? And that does have to do a lot with the finality. This is the ending, the capstone as well to the Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn's vision in Marvel. And so just seeing that end, seeing it wrap up felt so emotional. And then also all of that being at the core of Rocket Raccoon and seeing his backstory and seeing where he ends up at the end of this movie, it feels so full circle. It is a beautiful moment. This movie is so serene. It was very memorable. I loved everything about the back cast as well, just interacting, playing off of each other with all of the jokes. It was so much fun. And then there's Adam Warlock. A lot of people don't seem to be super enthused about his character, although I liked him. I found him very personable, very hilarious, and also meme-worthy. Have you seen all of the Adam Warlock memes, the Will Poulter memes that we've been getting? Very Revenge of the Sithy, but also a lot better in terms of filmmaking and storytelling and writing. It's really the only memorable movie since Endgame, unless if you want to count on Spider-Man's nostalgia bait movie, then sure, but everything else around that was just purely spectacle. Up at number 3 is The Iron Claw. This movie, I feel like it should be number 1, but the other 2 movies just kind of superseded it ever so slightly. Realistically, these next 3 movies, they could all equally tie for number 1 in my own opinion, but to rank them, I will now, and of course this may change over time, but Iron Claw, yes, it's at number 3 right now. That's not to say it can't change over time, but Iron Claw tells this fantastic story of a bunch of pro wrestlers, these brothers, the Von Erichs, and their curse of a family, and just seeing them work through that and struggle, and then the mental and physical abuse from their father, and also including mother. The mother is also terrible in this movie. I don't see a lot of people speaking on that, but they both are terrible, neglectful, horrible human beings, and thus leading to a tragic story. Kevin, played by Zac Efron. Wow, what an amazing performance. I always thought, oh, he's just Troy Bolton Golden Boy, but no. He's actually an amazing actor. He does so much fantastic work. As for number 2, this one was also very hard for me to decide upon because this is a monster movie and it is also Godzilla Minus One. I am not the biggest Godzilla fan. I did watch some of the older movies growing up, and I also did watch 2014 as, you know, Gareth Edwards' version of Godzilla, and then the King Kong versus Godzilla. Didn't really care about those. I hated the human story. Didn't really care much about Godzilla or the destruction, whereas here in Godzilla Minus One, I cared about the humans. Every time Godzilla showed up, I'm like, no, Godzilla, go away. Please leave Koichi alone. They need to raise a family and be happy, at least for once in their life. Godzilla, get out of here. And then also being wrapped up in a monster movie, I just thought, wow, they were able to walk that line and then also get to the other side without having that line break. So memorable, so action-packed, and my gosh, just at the end of the day, so very, very emotional. And I feel like a lot of people actually missed out on this movie because there wasn't a lot of marketing. And then also on top of that, it is Japanese, so there are subtitles and people might potentially skip that. I mean, Parasite won Best Picture in 2019, so who knows? Maybe Godzilla could pull it off with another foreign film winning Best Picture. It's possible. It's definitely up there. And as for my number 1 movie of the year, I've got to give it down to The Holdovers. No movie this year, well, a lot of movies this year have made me very emotional, very attached to the characters, but The Holdovers, it does it in such an extraordinarily different way. Paul Hunnam, played by Paul Giamatti, what a fantastic, dislikable character too. And then you end up liking him and enjoying him and understanding him. And I think if you are able to understand a character by the end of the movie, that is one of the biggest just applauses I can give to a film. And they not only did it with one character, they did it with Mary, but more specifically, they also did it with Angus Tully, played by Dominic Sessa, who is also, I believe this is his first movie ever, And I would also compare him to like actors like Robert Downey Jr. His acting is so charismatic. He is such a unique character. Downright, this movie just feels magical. It feels like the biggest, warmest hug, which I have taken note of that apparently Chris Stuckman has also been saying that. It's just weird how we both came to that conclusion. I have reviewed each and every movie on my YouTube channel, so if you guys see a movie you guys want me to talk about a little bit more, that review, just search it up on my YouTube channel. It's there. It exists. I swear. I know we're a small channel, but it does exist. Go check it out. But I'm gonna pass the question to you. What are your top 10 favorite movies of the year? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like. It does help out a lot. And hit that subscribe button too while you're at it. Lets you know when I post my next movie review or next video, because I do other videos as well. But yeah, we're on the road to me becoming a filmmaker, making a movie at some point. So if you guys want to follow that journey, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, it is the end of the year. 2024 is upon us. Happy New Year's, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one. Austin, out.